In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a front strut on your Toyota Highlander, located in the wheel well. Remove your 5 21mm lug nuts. Remove the front wheel using a 17mm socket. I'm going to remove the sway bar link. Also going to put a pair of locking pliers on the back to hold the stud. Remove the stud out of the bracket. Using a 12mm socket, we're going to release the brake hose bracket and the wheel speed sensor bracket, or the ABS sensor bracket. Pull that straight off, pull that up and out of the way. Do not twist this wire as best as you can. We're going to remove this ABS harness bracket. It's a plastic bracket. There's 2 tabs, one on each side. Pull outward and then straight off. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove the ABS sensor out of the knuckle. Using a 30mm axle nut socket, remove the axle nut. This axle is not moving inside of the splines, so we're going to use a soft face mallet and give it a little tap to make sure it can move. Make sure the axle will move freely inside of the splines. Using a 22mm wrench and a 22mm socket, we're going to hold the head of the bolt and take the nut off. Leave the bolt in there and do the same thing on the bottom one. Remove the bolts out of the knuckle. Pull the knuckle forward. There's a clip on top of the cowl here. You push in, and then you can remove it. There's a little tab over here. Pinch on the bottom and pull up. Our 3 top strut nuts are going to be in here. Using a 14mm socket, remove the nuts. Once the nuts are off, you're able to remove the strut. I like to put a little bit of copper around the top of the strut and on the studs. Install the strut. Make sure that the place where it connects to the knuckle is facing out. Install the nuts hand tight on top of the studs, far enough down that it'll hold the strut. Push the knuckle up into the strut. Make sure the axle is sitting in the splines. You may have to lift up a little bit to be able to get the bolt in. Install the nuts. And we're going to torque these to 216 foot-pounds. Do the same thing on the bottom. Install the axle nut onto the axle. Tighten it down using a bar to hold the hub still. I'm going to torque the axle nut to 216 foot-pounds. Install the ABS sensor bracket and the brake hose bracket on top of it. Install your 12mm bolt. Install the ABS clip back onto the knuckle. There's two little points on the strut that it'll clip into. And then put the ABS sensor back into the knuckle. Torque the ABS bolt to 6 foot-pounds. Install the sway bar link into the strut. The nut is oblonged to act as a locking nut. Using an 18mm wrench, hold the back while using an 18mm socket to tighten the front. We'll torque this bolt to 30 foot-pounds. Torque the bottom bolt to 55 foot-pounds. Install the front wheel. Put in your 5 lug nuts. You will need an alignment after this job is completed. Tighten the lug nuts down in a star pattern to make sure the wheel seat's square. And then with the car on the ground, we'll torque the wheels. Torque your lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds in a star pattern. Torque the top strut bolts to 63 foot-pounds.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.